Broken Frontline is quite hard, and so to make it easier, let me tell you some of the best physical damage sinners as well as some magic damage sinners to use next time you go into the Broken Frontline. So let's start with physical damage sinners, more specifically Nox. So Nox, you already know what's up. She's the best character right now, she deals some of the highest damage, but what really makes her great, especially in the Broken Frontline, is in fact her AoE damage. As in the Broken Frontline mode, while it's mainly a boss rush mode, you will have to face some smaller enemies at the start of the battle that can be a bit difficult to deal with, as there's not many good alternatives to Nox. But even if there are, Nox is free to play, so there's no real reason not to use her. And so definitely use her for not only the physical team, but also the magic team. She'll do decently okay. Now the second physical damage sinner is Labyrinth. So I was deciding whether or not to put Baiyi instead of Labyrinth, and in certain situations Baiyi might be the more optimal play. For example, if you really need the extra core break charge or just slightly higher damage, then Baiyi would be the play. The reason why I prefer running Labyrinth is due to a few things. Firstly, she's my favorite character, so there's that. But no, the big reason is that she has the ability to refresh her ultimate upon a core break. That means that against those normal enemies with cores, she'll be able to effortlessly get rid of them and still have a charge up for the boss, which is really good, compared to someone like Baiyi, in which you would have to expend her ultimate just to kill those enemies, and then you might not have her ultimate up for the boss. Now the last physical damage tier that I highly recommend you take is, drumroll please, Che. So this last slot was a hard one, as there's many good physical damage sinners to take, like Langley with her core breaking potential and high damage, or Priscilla who can just machine gun down the boss really fast. But the reason why Che takes the spot is because of two things. Firstly, he is able to deal 2 core damage with his ultimate, which is really nice, as there's not many sinners who can deal 2 core damage with one ability, and the boss that you will face usually has a ton of cores that you'll need to deal with, and so running Che is a really good idea. Now something important to note is that if you are running the buff that removes some of the boss's cores, then you could sub out Che for someone who's a bit more damage focused like Priscilla or someone like that, so do be wary of that. But now that's not to say Che's damage is low, because it definitely isn't. It's up there, especially with his damage amplification he gets from his first passive, and if you have his exclusive Crown Brand unlocked, then stacking this passive is much easier. Phew. That was a lot, but now let's move on to the magic damage dealers you should run, starting with, of course, everyone's favorite queen, Eirene. So Eirene is a magic damage sinner who outputs some of the not only highest magic damage but highest burst damage currently in the game. Well, until Darren, that is. And so with Eirene, you'll mainly be looking to use her ultimate once the enemy has their cores broken to get the maximum damage. Definitely do not, I repeat, do not use her ultimate for the core break. That's definitely a newbie trap. Other things about Eirene include the little Eirene exclusive Crime Brand trick, in which you can stack her ultimate, then correctly time the boss to walk over it, dealing huge amounts of damage. The last thing that's important to note is that her passive, which not only allows herself to gain energy, but the Chief as well, which as far as I know is the only skill in the game that gives the Chief energy. This can be very important, as this can be the difference between getting enough Chief energy to use its ability one more time in the battle. And so overall, Eirene is definitely someone to bring in your team. Now the second magic damage sinner is of course Luvia Ray. So there's no one quite like her, with the amount of consistent magic damage she can output. But now what makes Luvia Ray so good? Firstly, her ultimate will switch her attacks from an AoE attack, which is nice against those smaller enemies, to a more single target focus attack, which you'll need for the boss. Also, due to her passive, she can deal guaranteed critical hits, which is where a majority of her damage will come from. And this, paired with her exclusive Crime Brand, which allows each basic attack from Luvia Ray to hit twice, she will deal so much damage. Overall, she's a great pick when you're needing some damage on the magic damage side, and especially when you have the Luvia Ray buff. But now finally we reach our last magic damage sinner. So this one was a little hard, as there are many good options. For example, Hecate is someone I've used a ton. She's able to deal 2 core damage, which is really nice, and provides a nice magic penetration buff to the team. Serpent is another nice option that can bring great damage with her attacks and some core damage for the boss. But the person I have chosen would be Infer. So the reason why Infer is so good is because while herself won't be dealing that much damage, the amount of extra damage she provides through her buffs is actually really high and can definitely make up for her lack of damage, especially when on a high damage sinner like Luvia Ray or like Nox. And also with her exclusive crime brand, she can deal 2 core damage, which is really nice, and so she's almost like a better Hecate minus the whole magic penetration buff. But now that is it for the magic damage sinners and the best sinners overall for the broken frontline. Let me know down in the comment section which sinners you like to run. But now that is it for the video. If you enjoyed, then remember to